Ciao ragazzi, this is Jed with ItalyWise again, and I'm here to talk to you today about what I consider to be the 8 most important things to do if you are involved in a car accident in Italy. So, car accidents are no fun, no matter where it is in the world, but if you prepare yourself, maybe it'll be a bit less stressful. So, let's get started. So yours truly was involved in a fender bender just before New Year's. I was dutifully stopped at a crosswalk while a man walked his bike across the street, and a gentleman behind me, he was not paying attention and he hit his brakes too late and he slammed into the back of me. So anyway, fortunately, no one was hurt. The damage to my car was much less than what I thought. His car, not so good. But anyway, that was what prompted me to do this particular video. So anyway, I hope you'll find it useful. Anyway, before I go into the 8 things, just a couple of reminders. There's a subscribe button below. Please hit it, and there's a bell icon to the right, and if you hit that, you'll get alerts when future YouTube videos are released. And last and not least is a thumbs up is very encouraging to me. Plus it increases my rankings and it helps get the word out to more people about all the information that ItalyWise provides. So anyway, with that said, let's get started. The number one thing is know the language. If you're serious about making the commitment to come to Italy to be a resident, this is essential. Not only for everyday matters, but for dealing with the bureaucracy and situations like being in a car accident, whether you are at fault or not. Believe me, when you're asked to sign paperwork on the scene, paperwork that can end up being legally binding, you want to make sure that you understand everything. You don't have the luxury of hopping on your smartphone in the midst of all this stress and using Google Translate to wade through what can be a little bit of a complicated process. Number 2 is decide who to call based on the severity of the accident. Now, if it's a minor fender bender and both you and the other driver understand each other and you can agree about the details and who is at fault, then you could probably get by with filling out the paperwork and then going about your business. But if it's a serious accident, meaning there are injuries, and if the accident is somehow blocking traffic or imperiling other drivers, then you want to make sure you call one of the following numbers. The catch-all number, if you can't remember any of these other numbers, is 112. And that's a number that works all over the EU. And in Italy, it particularly goes to the Carabinieri. And those are kind of like the federal police, federal road police. So you can call them. But if you're in a township or the vicinity of a town, you would call 113, which is the Polizia locale. And they'll come and take care of the situation. And if there are injuries, then you want to call 118, which is for an ambulance. Number 3 is to employ your road hazard gear. And both of these things are required by law to be in your car at all times in the event of having a breakdown or being in an accident. The first is a red reflective triangle that is used to place behind the accident a defined distance to signal other drivers that there is an accident or a hazard ahead and to prevent there from being yet another accident because of your accident. Then the next thing you want to do is to put on your high visibility vest or jacket. Now, this is essential in low light and low visibility conditions, especially at dusk, evening, or dawn. And it helps make sure that you don't end up being roadkill as well. Number 4 is to start filling out your Modulo Blu form. And this is your form that you keep in your car at all times. Make sure you have a blank one if you've used one up already. And it details the accident, and both drivers are obliged to fill that out and provide all of their details. Now, fortunately, when you go to driving school, they'll spend some time on this and they'll teach you how to fill this out. So I encourage you to really pay attention at that part of the class. And the other thing is that you'll be tested on this on the written exam, or you can be. So anyway, what you'll do is you will fill out all your details, like your driver's license, your codice fiscale, the name of your insurance company, their address, your telephone number, all your contact information. And the other driver does that as well. So again, knowing the language is essential because otherwise you could make a mistake filling out the form, which after all is said and done, you are attaching your signature to this form and attesting that all the information is indeed correct. So anyway, another piece of good news is that there is in the back of the form an instruction that calls out each area and how to fill it out, but it's in Italian, it's not in English, so be prepared. 5 is pretty straightforward, and that is take your smartphone and take photos of the accident scene and damage to the vehicles. Number 6 is to get your documents ready for the police, and that's your driver's license and your libretto, which is your car registration. Now, a word of warning. If you have presented a car registration in Italy, that will signal that you are a resident of Italy, because you can't purchase a car without being a resident. Then if the officer checks into the database and ascertains, which is pretty easy to do, that you have been a resident for more than a year, then he or she will know that you are driving illegally. Because in the law in Italy is that after you've been a resident for a year, you are required to have an Italian driver's license. And I bring that up because a fair amount of people try to skate under the radar thinking they'll never be caught. Well, an accident is a great place to be caught, as well as the random roadside stops that are happening with greater frequency. Number 7 is confirm with the officer that you have filled out the Modulo Blu properly. The details of the accident are clearly spelled out. There's even a place for you to have diagrammed what happened in the accident. Anyway, then you'll be asked to sign the form as well as the other driver, and you just want to make sure that, again, the understanding of the language will give you assurance that you are not signing something that you don't understand. And number 8 is get thee to your car insurance company as soon as possible to deliver your copy of the Modulo Blu, which they will use to contact the other driver's insurance company and to get the ball rolling for getting your car repaired. So my friends, that is my experience with having a car accident in Italy and what you need to do. Hopefully, it'll never happen to you. It did to me, and I survived, surprisingly without a whole lot of stress. But I think that was because I was prepared. You can be prepared as well, and all will be fine. That's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Ci sentiamo presto.